guys, what's going on? Welcome back. Today is going to be a little bit of a sad video. I apologize. But it's something that I felt like I wanted to talk about, especially because, as you guys know, big fan of Jeepers Creepers, and a lot of people will know this girl from Supernatural. I feel like that was her main thing. She played Meg in Supernatural, and we're talking about Nicki Aycox. If you're as old as me, you might remember her playing Minx, who was the girl who had the psychic visions of Derry in the field in Jeepers Creepers 2 on the bus. And she also played Meg, which I remember her playing Meg in Supernatural. I haven't watched Supernatural in a while. I did get to a point where I kind of just stopped watching it. It was only because mainly I broke up with my ex, Alyssa. Me and her used to watch it together. So after the breakup, I just couldn't bear to even watch it again. But I remember being up to one of the seasons where Nicki Aycox was in it playing as Meg, and I remember her being like, she used to get on my nerves a lot. I just remember her really frustrating me. Like, oh my god, I hate her so much. And I honestly didn't even recognize her as Minx from Jeepers Creepers 2. But I saw on Twitter the other day that she sadly passed away. She had leukemia, and she was only 47 years old. And it just breaks my heart. I wanted to talk about it a little bit and just kind of give her some recognition, I guess. So she was in Cold Case, Perfect Stranger, X-Files. So I've seen like a lot of the things that she was in. I just haven't really noticed her. But it says right here, she released her debut EP, Red Velvet Room, in 2015. Not sure what that is, but I'm gonna have to listen to it. But I saw this on Twitter. The Supernatural account like tweeted out saying like rest in peace to her and, you know, giving condolences. And at first I didn't recognize her until I saw one of the comments, and they were like, I knew her as Minx from Jeepers Creepers, not just like Meg in Supernatural. And I thought, that's unbelievable. Like, I didn't, and then when I looked back at her picture, I saw that it was her, obviously, but it just kind of blew my mind a little bit. And it's sad that she's passed away so young, like 47 years old, of leukemia. Apparently she was diagnosed with it just last year, and now has passed away because of it. It's really sad, and it's also kind of crazy because, you know, you see her in Jeepers Creepers, and she was just a kid. I can't really work out how old she was. I'm gonna have to work that out in that movie, but she was supposedly like a teenager, and it really wasn't that long ago. But as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of Jeepers Creepers. I'm even rocking my Jeepers Creepers shirt today. This is just like Jeepers Creepers 1. It really is sad, especially because like Jeepers Creepers 2, in my opinion, was just as good as the first one, but in a totally different way. Like, the first one felt more isolated, I guess, because it was just brother and sister against this thing. This one was a lot more action-packed, dramatic, you know, and the creeper was like flying around and stuff like that, picking them up one by one off the field, and it just kind of got like pretty crazy, and I definitely loved that. I love them both equally, and I think all of the actors in both movies played a really good job. But I really loved how Minx, there's one scene in particular when she's on the bus and she's having the dream about Derry, and I've talked about this before many times. I even did like a reenactment of Derry in the field, and when she's looking out the window and she's having this dream that she's on the bus looking out the window, and she sees Derry like warning her to go back. He's like signaling her, go back, the creeper's out there in the field, go back. And when she kind of locks eyes onto the creeper running the same speed as the bus alongside the bus through the field, you just see his head and his hat like through the corn. Her eyes just well up with tears, and she's got this like terrified look on her face. It's that kind of acting that really like I pay attention to, especially when somebody is scared. I'm a big horror movie fan. I watched The Exorcist last night, the original one, and I can see like acting wasn't really that good back in the 70s because acting was more of a new thing. So it was more like, I read online that people back in those days were coming from theaters to go into acting roles, so they were acting like a lot more dramatic and what we would call fake. But then in like the 2000s. I would say that's like the best time for horror movies. And there is some actors that I just think really look good when they're scared, like they really pull it off well. And I think Minx was one of them. She had the tears in her eyes. She had that just expression. And even when she's like on the ground in the bus, like on the floor of the bus after she passes out the second time, she has a vision of Derry actually showing her the creeper standing on the scarecrow cross. And he tells her, "It eats." And she says, "Eats what?" And he says, "Eat us." But she really was an amazing actor, and it's so sad that she's passed away. But I just wanted to, I followed her on Twitter shortly after that, and it was kind of sad to see she didn't have that many followers. Not that that means anything, you know, in life. It doesn't matter how big or popular you are, like, we all end up in the same place eventually. But it kind of surprised me because she was an amazing actor, and except for her being in Supernatural, like, I really didn't recognize her in anything else, and it makes me kind of feel bad because I know how much potential she had. Like, I seen her in Jeepers Creepers too, and the way she portrayed Minx was just like, it was believable, and that's obviously what you want with an actor. But just sitting here now reading this about her, it's incredibly sad. She died on November 16th. So just like last week. It says right here on her Wikipedia page, Aycox was diagnosed with leukemia in 2021. She died from the illness on November 16, 2022 at the age of 47. So that's just heartbreaking. But I guess this video just kind of shows that, you know, there are so many actors in movies that we watch, and you don't really think of them after you watch it. Like, obviously, the main characters in that movie was, like, Scotty, Double D, even, like, Billy and his son, and the dog. I guess Minxie was, like, a main role in that. There really wasn't, like, a main character, because the whole bus was, like, the main characters, and they all partook in the movie. But I guess it just shows that, you know, when you're watching a movie and you got, like, a supporting actor in the movie, I guess they call them, and you don't really think about them afterwards, and you know, you find out that later on, like, they passed away or something like that, and it's kind of crazy to think, like, these were people too. They had a life, they had a family, and you see them in a movie and you just don't think about that. You know, you're so focused on like the killer or the main actors, you don't really think about the supporting actors. So this has really kind of made me sad. It's opened my eyes a little bit. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to make this video just to recognize a very important role in one of my all-time favorite horror movies, Nicki Aycox. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.